And
Ish is a technical term.
we can start with roll call.
Ish is always a term.
Johnson, Wiper,
Here.
Markham,
Here.
Miller, Brahman,
Present.
Long,
Here.
Spiz,
Present.
Smith Charles.
Present.
We have quorum.
Thank you. Commissioner Miller did indicate he would not be at the meeting today.
Who will not be?
And Brendan was not here yesterday. He was traveling, I think, somewhere.
No idea. All right, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next up is the approval of minutes for September 11th. I see Commissioner Spiz moves to approve the minutes. Is there support? Supported by Markham. Any corrections or additions? Seeing none, we can do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same side? Hearing none, that motion carries. Next is item 5, approval of the agenda. Take a motion to approve the agenda as it is.
Move it.
Moved by Mrs. Long, Ms. Long. Supported by, can I get a support on the agenda?
I support it.
Supported by Wiper, thank you. Any changes or moving things around? Seeing none, I will have us do a voice vote, which is all in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same? None, that agenda is approved. Our 6th item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone here who would like to address the Economic Development Infrastructure Committee on items on the agenda? I don't see anyone making their way to speak to this committee from the public, so I'll go ahead and close public comment, which takes us into item 7, our communications. We have 4 communications today. I do need a reminder. Do we take the ball at the state?
You can take
Susie, I'm sorry. Do we, same
Oh, we can
time?
do all, same, someone does a motion.
Okay.
You do?
And to receive and file those communications, and of course, we can ask questions of staff as they come up. So I'll take a motion to receive and file item 7 on the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Spiz and supported by Commissioner Markham. All righty. Wait, do we vote first? Okay. So first is the EPA Community Change Grant application. As you can see there. Next one is the monthly report from Oakland Thrive, our Business Forward initiative.
Laura's on the phone. She wants to make any comments.
Yeah, thank you. So who's our person for the first one? EPA, Water Resource Commissioner.
That would be.
Do you have a question? No, I don't have a question. You have a question on A?
Okay.
I have questions.
Hi, Lynn. I see you unmuted. Are you with WRC? Yes, great.
Yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure. So thank you for the communication. I don't think we have any questions for you at this time. Besides, how did you get that nifty little background to not show anything like that?
It wasn't chosen.
All right. Well, if anything comes up between now and our voting on item 7, please do stay tuned in. All right. The next one is item 7B, our monthly report from Oakland Thrive Business Forward Initiative. This is the June to August report. Did anyone have any additional insights they were looking for from this?
Nope.
Thank you, John.
I like getting a report and
Yes.
seeing
Yes.
how it's going. I mean, there's
Absolutely.
good numbers in there, a lot of touches of local businesses and that
Right.
sort of thing, so I like seeing the report.
Oh, yeah, they're knocking on the
Yeah,
window.
they're not gonna, so.
Seeing Hill
This one,
Cranes, Seeing Hill
So, I
Cranes
mean,
went in. I saw them
just-
knocking on those windows.
Macro.
Dom, how's it going?
So good morning, Commissioners. I am here to answer any questions you may have about the report. Obviously, Laura Dodd is also on the line to answer any questions. We're pretty thrilled about the progress that Oakland Thrive continues to make, as evidenced by the reports that you see. I think, the next few years are going to be fruitful for us with this program and their support for small businesses. But I'll turn it over to Laura in case she has anything to add.
Good morning, Laura. I love the
Good morning.
background you have. Little Pontiac.
Thanks. Always busy and fine. Happy to hear that you're happy with the report. I'm really proud of the work we're doing. Starting this program and getting it going has been a heavy lift, but it's great to see the progress right now, especially as we're going into one of the most important seasons for small businesses and local businesses. So expect to see a lot more good partnerships between us and Main Street Oakland County going into the holidays. So we'll keep sending the reports, and please reach out as you need us.
Appreciate that. I see the contact information, all that is in good order. So appreciate your time. And Mrs. Markham? Okay, I saw you looking this way. All right, so then we will go ahead and look at item C, which is Economic Development Quarterly Report for Project Diamond Phase 2. And I might as well just tee it up, the U.S. Center for Advanced Manufacturing Quarterly Report also, which is item D. Were there any specific questions on that? Great.
We good.
Yes, Mr. Wagner.
We've got Eric and.
Yes.
How's it going? I mean, it's.
So generally, it's pretty exciting. So on July 30th, we were able to launch the first cohort of the program after lots of preparation and lots of planning. That cohort is currently in session. We also have a number of companies which have been reviewed, have been analyzed for the second cohort of the program, and those we're preparing for review by the BOC. And so Eric Davis is on the call. We also had a launch event recently for the Digital Transformation Center, which sits in Auburn Hills, Michigan, and is home to a number of more sophisticated printers that companies have access to for training and technical assistance questions they may have about production in their own environments. And so far, it's been a really amazing program to watch be stood up. But I'll turn it over to Eric in case he has anything to add.
This afternoon, I think.
Yeah, thanks, Dom. So you'll see in the September report, we wrapped up the first cohort, so they're all done with the program. They received their printers, and then we're going to start doing some monthly meetups with them, kind of keep the ball rolling with them. We started our second cohort yesterday, so we got a group of new companies coming in, and then we're starting another one on November, and that's kind of the cadence we'll be building throughout the rest of the grant. About every 35 days, we'll have a cohort of companies. And then as Dom mentioned, we have 30 additional companies we're looking to fill the pipeline. So yeah.
So I'll make a distinction between the comments that Eric made and I made. So essentially, the first batch of companies was 38 companies, and that was approved by the BOC. Automation Alley has been moving subsections of that batch through the program. So when Eric says 1 and 2 have already been processed, that's what he means. So we have an additional 30 companies which we're preparing for review by the BOC, and those would be subsequent cohorts of the program.
Okay. So there's Commissioner.
Yeah, no problem. Commissioner Spence?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Good to see you. The question is, with the partnership with the state of Michigan, how is that progressing? Because I know it was announced in Mackinac, and I know it was going to take some time to progress, but I want to make sure, one, Oakland County is getting what we expected to get, and two, how's it going to expand from the state perspective?
So we have been in conversations continuously with the governor's office and with the state. Sean's here, I see. And so we've also been engaging with folks from the other counties nearby to talk about expansion into their communities. So we've had some more robust conversations over the last 2 months about joint programming, joint events to promote the program, and then also their funding of companies in their communities to support their development and participation on the network. So those conversations are ramping up, and we're hoping to make progress on that inside the year.
All right, so is there a rough timeline that's been established yet, or is that still in progress too?
I think that's still in progress.
Yeah, and it's in their state budget cycle right now.
Okay.
So in regards to making it a statewide initiative, their new budget cycle in the new fiscal year will start kicking off the end of October, beginning of November. there's conversations about how much money will be allocated for Project Diamond, which is part of Governor Whitmer's Make It in Michigan. Her third prong is build an infrastructure for innovation, and Project Diamond is what's been lifted up as a statewide initiative to help bring that infrastructure for innovation to light.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dom, I wanted to check on two things as well with, first with Project Diamond. I was curious about, it said that there were so many that were new applicants. What are previous people who applied before? Were they not awarded and that's why they're coming back? Or do people who get these awards have to reapply on some kind of consistent basis for whatever new items we bring to the table?
So I think the key distinction would be phase 1 versus phase 2 companies. We had about 600 companies or so from Oakland County that applied for the first phase of the program. And of course, we only had 250 slots. I think in this second phase, what we've also tried to do is prioritize companies that have not been a participant in the first phase. So trying to get new companies experience and exposure to the technology and also the training that we're providing through the program. And so we've gotten a lot of new companies. What we've seen in phase 1 as in phase 2 is that we also get a lot of applicants that are outside the territory of Oakland County, which was again an indicator that this program has some benefits, some merit outside of Oakland County and should be expanded, you know, to the point about the conversations with the other communities in the state of Michigan. But, you know, we've gotten a lot of new applicants. We've also ramped up our marketing and communications efforts around this program. So social media partnerships with other organizations around the community to help support and bring this program to more people's attention. Lots more, you know, promotion by our business development teams as well. And so that's helped us a lot with getting new applicants turned out. But Eric may have something to add there.
No, I think you summed it up well. Thanks.
Yeah, no, that was good. And then the question about item D was just simply the name of it. Are we still using the brand Automation Alley? And I'll just let that question be there.
So the U.S. Center for Advanced Manufacturing is branded separately from Project Diamond and from Automation Alley. The U.S. Center for Advanced Manufacturing, I would say, has a much more, has a broader advanced manufacturing, a more global outlook, focused on centering activity, bringing more advanced manufacturing activity, interest, and stakeholders to Oakland County specifically. And so that brand we do view separately from Project Diamond.
Correct, and I guess my question is Automation Alley, like the title of the document, Automation Alley, USCAM, that whole thing. I was just curious, I thought, and I know this was a big topic of discussion when I first got here about does it stay or does it go? I thought Automation Alley was gone, even the naming convention. So I was just uniquely surprised, I don't know if anybody else was, to see it in the titling there.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, let me take a swing at that. We've been invited, we presented at NACO conference in regards to Project Diamond, as well as recently at the
IEDC annual meeting.
Yes, which is the International Economic Development Council.
That's right.
In regards to a lot of interest in this advanced manufacturing, specifically Project Diamond. There is potentially interest by other communities across the country because Eric Schmidt, the founder and CEO of Google, is now working on a think tank in Washington, D.C., closely with the Department of Defense and has been for the last 6 years. In regards to, they put out a report called the SCSP, Special Competitive Special Projects. And what it is it's how do we become more competitive with China? Because China is beating us and creeping up on us in other areas and outpacing us in others. They identified Project Diamond as a best-in-class example of what other parts of the country should be doing to bringing advanced manufacturing back to the U.S. So that has sparked interest by other folks in regards to this project. So what I'm getting to is as we start to market Project Diamond outside of outside of the state,
Mhm.
that would be under the umbrella of the U.S. Center for Advanced Manufacturing. But the U.S. Center for Advanced Manufacturing isn't just 3D printing, it's also robotics, it's also drones, it's also cybersecurity, it's also artificial intelligence. So it's got different prongs attached to it as well. So we do see a space in a couple of years where Project Diamond would fold under the U.S. Center for Advanced Manufacturing.
Okay, and then I feel like the moderators last night. Let me just ask one more time. Automation Alley.
Yes.
Specifically, why is it still in the naming?
That's where it belongs.
Okay, so we do still
I
have.
think,
So you're-
I think
Please, Mr. Spitz.
I understand Madam Chair's question. If you look at the report for the U.S. Center for Advanced Manufacturing,
Oh,
at the beginning it says Automation Alley.
that shouldn't say that. It
Okay.
should
That
just
is your
say the
question,
U.S.
right.
Center for
Thank
Advanced
you.
Automation Alley and Project Diamond is separate, I understand that, but I think her question,
U.S. Center
they're not
is-
tied together,
yeah.
they are, but they're
Yeah.
not.
Okay,
They're-
I understand
it's an
your question.
independent
U.S.
agency.
Center for Advanced Manufacturing is what I would say is like a subsidiary of Automation Alley at this point.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it's a subgroup of it.
Yeah.
okay, good to know.
But the
Just-
title should just say U.S. Center for Advanced.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question.
No, I mean, we got a lot of in-depth information there from.
You got a more straightforward answer than you did last night.
Yeah. All right, so that covers it for the things that I had. Was there anyone else on communications? Seeing none, we can then go ahead and prompt the vote on item 7.
I'm a yes.
The vote,
No, didn't come out.
did you do the vote?
Okay, it's morning, it's early, don't mind me, sorry. Apologize to everybody.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here today for expounding on this along with Eric and Laura, of course, and thank you, Lynn, as well. That takes us to item 8 on the agenda, which is under the County Executive Department recommendations. I will take a motion to recommend and forward to finance item 8A, the Pontiac Redevelopment Project Construction Management Services. By Commissioner Markham, supported by Commissioner Charles. Alrighty, let's look at this. So Sean, it looks like you are presenting.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit what we've got.
we're getting closer to having our whole team in place to be able to move out on this project, so.
That's true, yeah.
We're one step closer. As you know, we have the owner's rep, which is the Farbman Group. We have our community engagement, which is Sidewalk Detroit. We have our architect, which is HED, doing a fabulous job for us, all of them. The next in the queue is the Construction Management Services. Their responsibility is 31 East Judson. That is their responsibility in this project. They are the ones that will be renovating that building for us. So we went through a process. We released the RFP on 4/29. The due date was June 12th. I was out for over 6 weeks. As a standard in this space, 28 days, 28 to 35 is best practices by the federal government in regards to a project of this size. So we definitely met and exceeded that. We received 12 total responses, which is fantastic. I always am interested in how many responses we get on bids. Less bids usually is an indicator that it wasn't out on the street enough. Or people view that government entity is not open to all parties. This is a strong showing, especially since the construction industry has been really tight in a lot of projects over the last few years. We did a response evaluation, was completed on June 11th. And we reviewed the 12 proposals. 6 of them rose to the top in regards to qualifying them to go to the next round, which was a presentation with the evaluation committee. So we had those 6 evaluators come in. So let me just share with you the 12. Ott Construction, Clark Brinker, DeAngelis Diamond Construction, DeMaria, Frank Rewald and Son, Granger Construction, Oliver Hatcher Construction, PCI Daily, Ronish Construction, Sask, Seawick, and the Chrisman Group. So that was the 12. Of the 6 that were invited back, that was Ott Construction, Clark Brinker, DeMaria, Frank Rewald and Son, Granger Construction, and the Chrisman Group. From there, we culled the list to 3. And the final 3 finalists were Ott Construction, Clark Brinker Construction, and Granger Construction. We then went out and asked for pricing. We did not ask for pricing in the original proposal. We waited until we got who was technically qualified, at least by the evaluation committee who rose to the top. We then asked for pricing clarification. After received the pricing, and it came down to 2, Clark Brinker Construction and Granger. We then did a best and final offer to negotiate because for us at that point in time, any one of the 3 were fine and would have been fully capable of doing this job. And when we came down to the final 2, Granger's price proposal was $81,000 better than Clark Brinker. And so it is our recommendation to make the award to Granger Construction.
Thank you for the breakdown, the process.
And I will provide this document to the committee and so all the committee members. This is what you should start to receive. We're changing our procurement process. We want to make sure that it's always been transparent, but there's always ways to improve transparency. This document will take you from beginning to end in regards to here's how many bids came in, here was the process, here's what we did, and all the way through, so you know exactly. Low price doesn't always win the day, I will say that right now. But we want to make sure that that people understand. In this particular industry perspective, of course, they all need to be capable. But price was the driving factor at the end once we determined everybody who was capable was able to bid on this. So
Has Granger been awarded any contracts with us before?
yeah, they are. We have an RFQ, a qualified program where there are 6 different construction companies that do work for us. Granger is one of those qualified, so is DeMaria, so is Frank Rewald and Son, and so forth. What in our letter to communicate to all 12 of these companies, we thanked them for their comprehensive proposals and so forth, and also reminded them that we've got a lot of work to do on our campus in the days ahead, and we hope that they'll be engaged in that process when that work starts to come out.
Well, that's very important to me. You must have read my blurb in the newspaper about things that I'd like to see come to the county. Procurement was one of those things, and just you mentioned about transparency and how it's been the name of the game since day one, but I still think the systems that you're putting in place now that were, sunsetting of a career allows for some sunlighting on some systems and things like that. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you for listening and hearing us. And then that document that you're pointing out, I guess, could go to Amy or Susie in terms of just digitizing it, because I don't need more paper. Did anyone else have any questions on this item? I see Commissioner Spiz, followed by Commissioner
Thank you,
White.
Madam Chair, and I don't know if you have this off the top of your head, or Gwen, if you have this off the top of your head, but out of the general fund strategic investment plan fund balance, how much money do we have in that?
Yeah, so first of all, that is a regular fund that is set up. The fund that needs to be established is the $50 million which is the enhancement grant from the state of Michigan. So we are using the strategic investment, the general fund dollars right now to handle some of these so that we can continue to move forward. These dollars will be paid back to that budget as soon as that gets set up by fiscal services.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Good question, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Wagner?
Granger certainly well known at the top of around southeast or around.
Yeah, they do a lot of work.
And then the 50 million, I thought we had that, it just hasn't been.
Well, we have 25 of the 50 that came in, and so that's on a reimbursement basis. And so we just need, fiscal services needs to establish that. They've been a little busy since July, so we're gonna give them a little room to maneuver. We said in October we'd get those accounts set up, and then, so what you see in regards to the 2.7 million there, that will come out of this Pontiac fund, the $1 million. And so, but we needed to move it forward, and so we're using this to move it forward at this point in time. And any funds that have been used out of this account related to Pontiac will be reimbursed. So.
Is there lamentation you'd like to share with us?
No, I just,
Okay.
I was wondering how that.
I'm trying to carry the one as well, so
Yeah.
I understand what you're thinking.
Commissioner Markham?
I just have one comment, and that is I appreciate that price isn't the only thing. That you actually, the engineer in me likes the fact that we have all our technical ducks in a row, and whatever it is we're gonna pay for, we know is quality work by quality people before we look at how much it's gonna cost us.
Yeah.
And then you do an evaluation that,
Right.
make sure we hone into that. But I think it's really important that not everything is the cheapest.
Yeah, there certainly are some things, there's certainly commodities or standard, what we would call maintenance, repair and operation. Hey, you're asking somebody to do snow removal or landscaping or other things, window cleaning, janitorial work. I mean, there's pretty defined requirement. You wanna make sure that people are technically capable in that space, but price should be more of a leading factor as it comes to commodities. Here, what we also want to be careful of, right, and I've seen this in my years, is sometimes people will come in front of you and say, hey, I was the lowest price, I should have got the job, right? That's not always the case. It depends whether it's set up as an ITB or an RFP, a request for proposal, or an invitation to bid. If it's an invitation for bid, then as long as they're responsible and responsive, the price wins out. If it's an RFP, then it's really about best value at the end of the day, and it needs to be, integrated in that. But, so we wanted to go through this process and make sure, hey, we're not asking for price up front. That's not important. What's important is that we have the right capable people at the table. And once we boil it down, because you don't want to boil it down to one and then say, hey, give me a price, because then they know all the competition's gone. You want to make sure that they're giving you the best price and that you're negotiating along the way. That's another thing that we haven't done historically in the county is negotiate. We're not putting out best and final offers and having an opportunity for people to sharpen their pencil. So there's an opportunity for cost savings that haven't been realized in the past. But we have a new chief procurement officer in place. He understands what the standard is and what we're shooting for.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, I think that was the last hand I saw raised, so we can vote on item 8A.
Your e-vote button doesn't even come up.
Spiz?
No.
Alright, you have 4 yeses, 2 nos.
Okay, thank you. That does carry and passes on to recommended forward to finance.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I know.
All right, item 9A, I'll take a motion to recommend to the board participant agreement for government entities for the 2024 My Career Quest Southeast event. Well, thank you. Moved by Wiper, supported by Commissioner Rahman. Welcome, Jennifer.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. And it looks pretty standard, a little bit standard, but go ahead and give us a high level on it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning. The resolution before you requests your approval of the My Career Quest Southeast Event Participant Agreement for our government exhibitors. As you are aware, on November 19th, we'll be hosting My Career Quest Southeast at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. We're expecting about 8,000 high school students from over 100 high schools across Southeast Michigan. The agreement with the Suburban Collection Showplace of Novi does require us to enter into agreements with our exhibitors. Some of those exhibitors are considered governmental entities, so Oakland University, our community college partners, we have a couple of cities and counties that are exhibitors as well. So this resolution has that boilerplate attached to it, and it has been reviewed by Corporation Counsel, and we have secured their approval. So we're requesting your approval of that agreement so that we can execute it with those participating exhibitors.
So this is kind of new for this year because of Suburban?
No, I think we've done this each of the 4 years that we've hosted, 2018 and 2019, and then you approved a similar resolution last year as well for last year's event.
Okay, Commissioner Wong?
So I'm just looking at this agreement. It says the 18th and 19th. When is the actual event? I thought the 19th?
The event is the 19th, but we require all of our exhibitors to set up on the 18th.
Okay, so it's the 19th.
Yeah, the students start arriving about 7:15 in the morning, so it's important that they are ready to go at their places and ready to start greeting students by 8:15 a.m. on Tuesday.
Okay, thank you. 8:15 to what time? All day?
The last group of students leaves at 2:15 in the afternoon.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Wiper?
If we're gonna come and participate, I wrote down 10. I mean, do you wanna?
Yeah, so at 10 o'clock, we're hosting a VIP tour for our VIP guests. If you're interested, just RSVP. We do provide lunch as well to our VIP guests.
Also RSVP.
Thank you.
So do we have an email?
Okay. Do you have any EMS style people there?
Yes, actually, our health sciences quadrant is overflowing. We have several exhibitors around EMT, paramedic, nurses, anesthesiology. That quadrant is at capacity. We actually can't take any more exhibitors. We are struggling a little bit with our advanced manufacturing quadrant, ironically. So doing a lot of work with our advanced manufacturing companies and partners across Southeast Michigan to encourage them to participate. But you'll be impressed by the health sciences quadrant, certainly.
I'm sure I will. And you can't be all things to all people, but I am always pleasantly surprised at how amazing parks are.
Yes.
And like going into those fields, I'm not sure where that fits under, because you got med and tech and manufacturing. But just as you're noodling around for different types of career questing, parks are pretty cool.
Absolutely.
But I digress. Let us then go ahead and prompt the vote because I think everybody's questions have been addressed.
Oh, shoot. Oh, it came up on a different page. I'm surprised.
I e-voted and popped up.
Oh, it worked.
So it worked.
Yeah,
Okay, vote.
but I was off the page and it worked. Surprise.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. That motion carries. Jennifer, you are all set with your participant agreements
Thank
for
you.
government.
Thank you,
Well,
Jennifer.
Appreciate it.
I think it still goes with
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. That takes us to item 10, everyone, which is public comment. I saw a long line of people waiting in the
Yeah.
hall, so let's get started.
Running in and out, from outside.
If there's anyone who'd like to address this committee on any item, please do
Oh,
let us
I went
know
down.
by going to the front of the room. I don't see anyone doing so I'll go ahead and close our second public comment. Is there any other business before this committee? Seeing none, I will call it adjourned. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Charger?